Welcome back, everyone. In this video, we're finally getting closer to forms development. I know that this has been a series about forms development. We haven't actually done that. We're just doing the preparation. But again, all this work pays off in the long run because we're going to be able to create a great application. So let's go ahead and get started. Let's revisit this content TSX file and let's modify it because this is where we're going to basically switch to our individual forms. So this is going to be a functional component, and this is going to import that from React. So we're going to add functional component, and this content is going to actually retrieve the parameters that we built using our reusable hook for get URL params. One of the parameters that we're going to be bringing from that component is form name string, form view string, and if you really wanted to, you could say get URL params, and we can actually have some intelligence. Watch this. Um, After form view string, control space, and look at that, item ID. Awesome. Gotta love TypeScript. Let's clean this up. We don't need to bring in React. Let's just bring functional component in for now. Now, the next thing that we're going to do that we have that is we're going to load our components. Now, you may be thinking, wait a minute, isn't this counterintuitive? Isn't this going to hurt my application? There's going to be a lot of forms we're going to be building, and potentially our application is going to start running slower and slower the more we load components. And honestly, the short answer is no. It's not going to happen because we're going to use something called, and it's not me, I'm not this, but it's actually called React Lazy. And what React Lazy, it allows you to render the components dynamically, only when they're needed, essentially. And I'll show you what that looks like once we build this application out. So let's continue. We're going to import lazy from React. And now that we have that, the first component that we're going to import is going to be form server. And that's going to import it using lazy from React. And that's going to use import form server. Awesome. The next component we're going to import is going to be the actual form, but wait a minute, we haven't created that. I'm getting ahead of myself here. Let's create a new folder, and we're going to call it forms because we're going to have several forms built out. And another folder for the form that we're going to be working on, which is going to be the lures form. And we're going to actually create a lures container. So let's create the, actually, let me not do that. We want to call the component lures container, but we want to, obviously the form is going to be called lures. Let's create a new file, and we're going to call that lures container. And that's going to be a functional component that just returns lures container in a div for now. Again, we're going to work on that. So let's lazy load that now. It's going to be called lures container, and that's going to be using lazy loading. Again, import. And we're going to use forms, lures container. Awesome. So now let's build the content for this component. So we're going to use this variable to hold it for now. So it's going to be form content. Forms content is equal to null for starting it. We're just instantiating the variable. Then we're going to create a switch statement. And in the switch statement, we're going to actually be using the parameter called form name string. And obviously the first value that we're going to be looking at is called lures. And if we have lures, we're going to lazy load. We're going to set form content equal to, and it's going to be the rendering of the lures container. I'm sorry, let me make sure that looks actually like a component. Yes, so that's going to return our lures container, or it's going to set the form content container. We don't have any other forms, otherwise I would recommend another case, and I may put in the comments if you want me to create another one so you can see it switching depending on the parameter. I might just do it for for demo purposes once we have more than one form created. Um, the default obviously is going to set form content equal to rendering the lazy loaded form server component. Awesome. So now that we have that set up, we have our lures component and our default in case our user makes a mistake. Now we can go ahead and just say, okay, in the return statement, go ahead and return form content. And then we save it, make sure all of our files are saved. All of our files are saved. And let's run npm run build to build our application. And what this is going to do is you're going to see that in our distribution folder, you can clearly see that our code went from just 2 files, which we've always seen, bundle and bundle.js map, to several files now inside of our distribution folder. And this is what code splitting does. It allows you to take your code, split it into different files, so that way when your application loads, it doesn't get hurt performance-wise because all of your code is split up into different sections. Let's go into SharePoint. And in SharePoint, let's go to site contents. And inside of that site contents, we're going to go to style library and US tackle box. And here's our original 2 bundle.js files. We're going to copy our recently freshly built application, drop it into this folder. It's going to ask us to replace the 2 files, the bundle and bundle.js map. Awesome, that's been done. So everything is good to go. In a new tab, let's right click here, open in a new tab. Let's go ahead and go to Site Assets, Tackle Box, and open this index.aspx. Again, that never gets changed. And so you can already see that obviously we don't have any parameters being passed, so that's why we're automatically seeing our form server card load saying that there's been an error in the URL parameters. So now if we add question mark form name equal to lures, our lures container is loaded. And let's see, just out of curiosity, so you can see what happens here under network. And let's open this lures. Let's expand that a little bit. And you can see that it only loaded source lures, even though it had a bunch of other files. Like we have modules, MUI material, all these other files, it only loaded the one we needed, which was the lures container. If I don't put anything here, and I just load index.aspx, look at that, it only loaded the form server. So you see, you can build a bunch of different forms in here, and it doesn't hurt your application performance because everything is going to be literally loaded, individualized, and it's not going to hurt the application. Anyway, that's going to do it for this video. I appreciate you coding with me today. I'll catch you on the next one. Thanks for watching. If you found this video helpful, give it a like. If you think someone else could benefit, please share it. If you have any questions, please leave me a comment and subscribe if you can. It's free for you and it really helps me out. Finally, if you can, go ahead and click on that bell to let you know when the next video is added.